If you allow me, I can fix it. The voice was calm, steady, and it cut through the chaos of the server room like a knife. Every head turned. At the door stood a young woman, dust in her hair, blouse torn, skirt worn thin. She looked like someone who hadn't eaten in days, yet her eyes burned with a fire no one in the room could ignore. The air thickened. A clock ticked loudly on the wall, but for a moment even time seemed to pause. The experts froze. They had been battling the system for 6 hours, millions bleeding away by the minute. Their eyes were bloodshot, their shirts stained with sweat. Fingers twitched restlessly over keyboards, yet no progress had been made. The servers, tall and humming, loomed like iron giants mocking their helplessness. And now, this stranger dared to speak. Engineer Kofi laughed bitterly, though his laughter was closer to despair than humor. Fix it? We have Ghana's best cyber team here. Who even let you in? The guards moved instantly, hands brushing against their holsters, ready to drag her out. But before they could, Nana Kwame Agyekum, billionaire CEO of Pesaflow, wrapped in a regal black agbada, raised his hand. His deep voice silenced the room. Wait. It wasn't just a word. It was command, weight, and judgment rolled into one. He studied her closely, his gaze sharp, as though he could see into her very soul. Let the young lady speak. A murmur rippled through the engineers. Some scoffed, shaking their heads in disbelief. Others exchanged nervous glances. But the billionaire had spoken, and his word was law in this room. Ama stepped forward. Her thin frame moved with surprising steadiness, as though invisible strings were pulling her toward the machines. Her voice was low, almost gentle, but her words struck like hammer blows. Your ledger is corrupting itself. The encryption failed. The backup refused to connect. You are fighting shadows in your own system. Am I wrong? Kofi's smugness faltered. He blinked, his lips parting, but no words came. That was exactly the problem. The room went still. Only the humming servers filled the silence. Even the air conditioner seemed to hold its breath. Nana's eyes narrowed. You saw this from out there? She nodded once. I listened. I understood. The disbelief thickened. One engineer muttered, impossible. Another whispered, she's bluffing. But Nana didn't blink. His gaze stayed locked on her. Give her the terminal. Gasps escaped the team. A chair scraped against the tiled floor. The guards hesitated, unsure whether this was wisdom or madness. Kofi's voice cracked with protest. Sir, this is reckless. We can't just— But the weight of Nana's command pressed down like iron. His eyes, dark and unyielding, brooked no argument. The guards stepped aside. Ama walked forward, each step echoing louder than it should. For a brief second, her hands trembled, betraying nerves, hunger, exhaustion. But then, as her fingers touched the keyboard, steadiness returned. They moved, not searching, not guessing, knowing. Fingers danced across the keys with an elegance that made seasoned engineers stare. She scrolled through endless lines of code, as though she had written them herself. Her lips moved silently, tracing logic like a poet whispering verses to the wind. There, she murmured. Her eyes narrowed like a hawk spotting prey. Wrong hash algorithm in the validation set. Every 10th transaction leaks corruption into the chain. The team leaned closer, hearts pounding. Her voice sharpened. And here, an API call with a faulty timeout. When the network surges, the main server collapses in confusion. Fix one without the other, and the system still dies. Kofi's throat tightened. His 20 years of experience had never seen this pattern. He swallowed hard. How did we miss this? He whispered, his voice breaking into the silence. The silence after Kofi's broken whisper hung in the air like smoke. Every expert in the room knew the truth. She was right, and the sting of it bit deep. Nana stepped closer, his agbada swaying with quiet authority. His face was unreadable, but his eyes carried a dangerous intensity. Can you fix it? He asked. Ama didn't look up. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard, frozen mid-air, as though her answer was written somewhere in the glow of the screen. Finally, she turned her gaze to him. If you allow me. The words were steady, but her heart thundered in her chest. Nana nodded once. His voice was final. The room changed. Every engineer shifted in their seats. Every guard stiffened at attention. The weight of the command settled on them all. No one dared speak. Ama inhaled slowly, steadying herself. Then her fingers moved, faster this time, keystrokes sharp, precise, purposeful. She corrected the validation setting, updated the API timeout, restructured the test path. She worked not like a tired girl, but like a master craftsman chiseling at stone. The screens reflected in her eyes, code streaming like rivers of green fire. Nana asked without looking away from her. 17 minutes. An engineer answered quietly. 17 minutes. That was all she had. 17 minutes to save a company that was bleeding millions by the minute. 17 minutes to prove that her ruined past had not buried her future. Somewhere deep within the servers, a warning light blinked. One of the backup systems had activated on its own. A tiny alert window flashed. Authorized process detected. No one noticed. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Ama. But Ama noticed. She bit her lip, her fingers never slowing. Someone was fighting her from inside the system. Not just corrupted code. A hand. A mind. Her thoughts raced. Do I tell them, or do I stay silent? If she warned them now, they'd panic. If she stayed quiet, she could be outnumbered, facing an invisible enemy alone. For the first time, she felt a chill creep down her spine.
Yeah.
She leaned back suddenly, sweat dampening her brow. I'm done. Her voice was calm, but her shoulders ached. Her fingers trembled from speed and tension. Kofi forced a cough, his voice heavy with pride but laced with something new, respect. We'll test it. Nana's head turned sharply. Run the test transfer. The engineers obeyed. Keys clattered. The test program opened. Outside the server room, the sun was already dipping, painting Accra's skyline with fading gold. But inside, no one noticed the light. All eyes were on the monitor. A million city test transfer began.
There.
The loading bar crawled forward. Beep, beep, beep. Then an alarm. Transaction failed. The words slashed across the screen in harsh red. Gasps echoed. Chairs shifted. A curse hissed from someone's lips. Every head turned to Ama, but she didn't flinch. Her voice came out firm, steady, unshaken. Wait, don't shut it down. The engineers looked at her like she had lost her mind. She raised her hand slowly, her gaze still locked on the flickering monitor. The system is not failing. It's recalibrating. It's checking the whole chain again. It needs time to adjust. Trust it. Her voice carried a strange weight, like an anchor in the middle of a storm. Nana's command came like thunder. Hold steady. The team obeyed, hands frozen above keyboards. No one dared disobey. The red light blinked once, twice, then green. Transaction success. Ledger validated. The room erupted. Gasps turned to shouts. Engineers stumbled out of their chairs. Kofi's pale face looked as though he'd seen a ghost. Impossible, he whispered. His knees nearly gave out. But Ama's eyes were not on the green light. She was staring at the corner of the monitor where, for less than a second, she saw the red dots again. 3 of them, pulsing like a heartbeat, then gone. It wasn't over. Not yet. She wiped her damp palms against her skirt and said nothing. Some truths, she thought, were too heavy for this moment. Nana studied her, his powerful frame suddenly softened by something human, wonder. In 20 minutes, she had done what his best experts could not in 6 hours. His voice dropped low, almost gentle. What is your name? She stood tall. Her eyes glistened, but her voice was proud. My name is Ama Sika. The name rippled through the room like a hidden drumbeat. Kofi froze. Sika, from Ghana Institute of Technology. Top of your class. The prodigy. You disappeared. Whispers exploded. Every engineer had heard the legend. The girl who had outcoded professors, who had been courted by global companies. The girl who vanished 2 years ago. Ama's lips pressed tight. The memories stabbed like knives. The whispers circled the room like restless birds. Ama Sika? The prodigy? I thought she was gone. Nana raised his hand and silence fell again. His voice cut through the air, calm but commanding. Explain. Ama's throat tightened. Her gaze lowered to the tiled floor, where shadows from the server light stretched like scars across the room. Her voice shook as she spoke. 2 years ago, our family shop was burned down by rivals. My father lost everything. He got sick and died not long after. My mother, she followed him soon. The room stilled. No one moved. She took a trembling breath. I was only 20. I had an offer to work in South Africa, my dream job. But after losing them, I broke. I cancelled everything. Threw away my phone, cut myself off from the world. I ended up on the streets, begging for food. Silence pressed heavily on the room. Even the servers seemed to hum softer, as if listening. Engineer Kofi, who had mocked her only moments ago, stared down at his shoes. His face burned with shame. Ama's tears glistened, but her voice grew stronger, steadier. Every day I passed this tech hub, I'd look through the glass, watching people like you, engineers, coders, innovators, and I would remember what I once was. Her fists clenched at her sides. Today, when I heard your voices, when I saw your struggle, I thought, let me try. Even if I'm thrown out, even if people laugh, at least I won't die with my dream locked inside. As she spoke, one of the engineers noticed something odd on the screen behind her. A log entry blinked on and off, then vanished. Unauthorized login attempt, port 4417. The engineer rubbed his eyes, thinking he imagined it. He didn't interrupt her, but Ama had seen it. She said nothing. Not yet. For the first time in years, his heart felt heavier than his wealth. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. His deep voice trembled with something rare in him, emotion. You didn't just fix my servers, you reminded me why second chances matter. He turned to the stunned engineers, his voice rising like a tide. Everyone here saw it. Greatness is not about clothes, not about titles. It is about truth, skill, and heart. And today, this young woman showed all three. His words rang out like gospel. Even the guards straightened, pride flickering in their eyes. Nana turned back to her. Ama Sika, from now on you will never beg again. I will make sure the world knows your name. Applause burst across the room. Even Kofi, with tears on his cheeks, clapped hard. Ama covered her face with her hands. She hadn't felt this much light in years, and it blinded her. Yet as the applause echoed, the servers behind her flickered once more. Hidden among the endless lines of code, a message appeared for less than a heartbeat, before dissolving. Hello, Sika, we've been waiting for you. Ama froze, her heart dropping into her stomach. She blinked, and it was gone. Had she imagined it, or had someone just spoken directly to her? Her hands shook as she lowered them from her face. She forced a smile for the room, but inside, dread coiled tight around her ribs. This wasn't just broken code, this was war. Ama's eyes widened. Sir, you saved my company, you come with me. Outside, the horns of Accra filled the night. The city pulsed with life, unaware of the battle that had just unfolded inside this room, or of the storm still to come. Minutes later, Ama stood outside the glass doors of the tech hub. The night air of Accra hit her face, heavy with dust, car fumes, and the noise of restless traffic. Yet for the first time in years, she felt light. In front of her, sleek black cars lined the curb, engines humming like lions ready to leap. The largest, a bulletproof Mercedes Maybach, gleamed under the streetlights. Its tinted glass reflected her image back at her. She stared at the reflection. For years she had only seen a beggar, a ghost, a shadow. But now, she saw something else. Her blouse was still torn, her skirt still faded, her hair still dusty, but her eyes, those bright, unyielding eyes, looked back at her differently. She didn't see a girl who had lost everything. She saw a woman who had just brought a company back from the dead. Behind her, the glass doors slid open. Nana's deep voice called out, "Get ready, Ama, the world is about to know your name." The words struck her like thunder. Her chest rose and fell as she fought the swell of emotion inside her. She turned. The billionaire stood framed by the glowing lights of the server room, his black agbada flowing like a banner of power. His guards flanked him, sharp and disciplined. Behind them, the engineers still stared at her in awe. Ama swallowed hard. This was no longer just about her. She had stepped into something larger than herself. She walked toward the car. The guards opened the door for her. The leather interior glowed with soft golden light. She hesitated for a heartbeat, staring into the luxury she had never touched, never imagined sitting inside. And then she stepped in. The door closed behind her with a deep final thud. For the first time in years, she was no longer outside looking in. She was inside. As the convoy pulled away, the servers in the building flickered one last time. A faint message flashed on the administrator's console, unseen by anyone left in the room. She has returned, phase 1 complete. Then the screen went black. Amas, inside the car, Nana turned to her. His face was calm, but his eyes studied her with the precision of a man who weighed kingdoms in his palm. You saved me tonight, Ama, but saving me once will not be enough. London is only the beginning. Ama looked at him, her lips parting slightly. The beginning of what? Nana's eyes narrowed, his voice dropping low. The beginning of a war that money alone cannot fight. The city lights streaked past them as the car sped into the night, carrying Ama into a world of power, danger and secrets she could not yet imagine. Her true story had only just begun. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit subscribe, share with your friends, and drop the name of your country in the comments. I'd love to know where you're watching from.